Party people, party people, party people. Y'all already know what time it is. You know what I'm saying? Drop a one if you can hear me. Hit that like button and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend and tell a friend. The Fat Boy Finesse is live again. I changed my mind. Let's go. What's good with you? Sterling Wade, what's good with you? Larry, what's popping with you?
Stop by that defense of the Wildcats.
Bro, I ain't even been outside. Well, I went outside to clean my car off, but that was it, man. It's been crazy work, bro. It's been crazy work. Oh my God. Ooh. My bad, y'all. That came in crazy. I'm gonna go ahead and turn this countdown off. Let's go ahead and jump into it. Party people, party people, party people. What's good, man? All right, I believe that y'all can hear me. Listen, I'm actually starting a little bit early. I put up a story. Shout out to everybody that's watching over on IG. If you want the full experience, you come over here to YouTube. If you want the full experience, you can come over here to YouTube. But Da Vinci, that was Bethune-Cookman. That was Bethune-Cookman. PDP, I see you. Sin of the day. You know what I'm saying? Big Drip, what's popping with you? You know, Sherrod, I see you. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to The Bridge. I am your connection between the industry and the community, where we make connections that make sense. And I kind of want to have a conversation tonight. I'm actually, quote unquote, open up the phone lines. Poe, what's going on with you? All the way from Brooklyn. Oh, sicker than your average. Get Right Fragrances, Clean Team, Purple Label. Absolutely, man. Y'all already know what time it is. It is Black Owned Fragrance Week, man. So as you're coming in, drop a one if you can hear me. Hit that like button. That's your way to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend, to tell a friend that Fat Boy Finesse is live again. And we're gonna get right into the conversation tonight again. I appreciate you guys that are watching on IG. All right. And again, if you want the full experience, definitely come on over here to YouTube for the full what in the world? Y'all see that on my screen? Hold on. What is that? What is that? What is that? Okay. All right. I'm glad I caught that. You know, Larry says a whole lot of Michael Malloy. We got LV Imagination. Okay. All right. Bet. All right. So we got ones on it. Everybody can hear me. Everybody can see me. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and run the disclaimer. I'm not really necessarily waiting for people to get in tonight, but I'm gonna run the disclaimer and then we can go ahead and get it popping, man. Y'all already know what time it is. Let's go. The views and the opinions expressed in this program are those of my own and do not necessarily reflect the views or positions of any entities I represent or collaborate with. I love fragrance. There will be no clone slander, designer slander, or niche slander. Like what you like, love what you love. Most importantly, don't take my word for it. Get your own nose on. They gonna trip when they hear this. This guy. Nah, it ain't Jada. It's Fat Boy, but you can call me Walt. Walt J. Hey, let's cut up for a little bit. Here we go. That boy crazy. Call me Mr. Elixir. My nose is something sinister. I'm stone cold like a tombstone. I'm a finisher. Finisher. A fragrance that a finisher. Preaching about these oils like they holy. I'm a minister. Trying to set the record straight. Curve is the real king. Still got love for grease. Savage make them girls free. Can't forget that 1 million got me feeling real lucky. Call me Fat Boy, but don't test me. It can get ugly. I'm trying to find a new cologne. I don't really know where to go. That boy out here singing, boy. Crazy work. Hey, get him again, Fat Boy. I'm a real fragrance reviewer from niche to designers. You can never clone Fat Boy. I know that's right. I'm rocking with the Czar and my homegirls, the oil lady. Paris, Milan, a little tougher than my other ladies. Renaissance man, though I never been to Harlem. Love a New York night like a crook, love a bond man. Bailing out the game, but don't call me a savior. Casting out these phonies, call me a demon slayer. In the words of my brother Dedrick Hicks, positive vibes. Positive vibes only. Positive vibes only, man. So shout out to y'all again. I don't know what happened with my whole weather thing. That joint is going crazy down there, whatnot. But yeah, I actually posted. I had posted on my story that I wasn't. Luke, I see you over there. Shout out to the Elemental, man. That I actually was not going to go live. It's been a day, to say the least. And so I did share in the story. We are actually preparing somewhat for my maternal grandmother to transition, so to speak. So to speak. It's a weird situation. You know, I'll say it like this: when you're ready to go, you're ready to go. You know, when you finish the race, you know, and you've done what it is that you needed to do, and you're at peace with God, and you're at peace with what you've done on earth, when you gotta go, you gotta go. And so aside from that, that's not even necessarily the reason why I was really just gonna kind of hit pause today and delay everything until tomorrow. But work, man. I do not do this full time. I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't know if I want to do it full time, but I do not do it full time or whatnot. Shout out to everybody who does and who's able to make a living. But yeah, it's been a lot of stress, a lot of emotions today, but I'm showing up, and I'm showing up in honor of my grandmother. You guys hear me say this all the time. One of the things that she says is, start out like you can hold out. And as we celebrate Black History Month, as we celebrate Black-owned Fragrance Week, you know, as I've taken some time to reflect on the last 38 going on 39 years of life that I've been able to share out of her 90 years on this earth. She just turned 90, celebrated 90 at the beginning of the year. And so hey man, it's as the songwriter says, it is well. I'm good. I'm human. You know what I'm saying? But I'm good, because when you do what you're supposed to do, and when you embrace life in a way where you understand death is not the end of a thing, it's the next step. It's the next phase. And so I'm excited that we got an opportunity to celebrate her life, and that we've had and we're going to continue to celebrate as long as she's here. But she worked hard. My grandmother was a hard worker, and there's a good chance she's probably watching right now in the hospital, because my mom is typically watching my lives, and definitely probably to take her mind off of things. So I appreciate all the condolences. You know what I'm saying? I appreciate that. Dutch, I appreciate that. Sterling, Kenny, you know what I'm saying? Will, 504, I appreciate that. Beardsome, absolutely. And so, Zernell, I see Zernell Gilly in the building. Hey, listen, those of you who are over on IG, I am also live. If you want the full experience, come over on YouTube. Fat Boy Finesse is the handle. All right. But I appreciate you guys joining on IG as well. But shout out to the grandmothers, man. They work hard. You know, I don't like when people talk about how millennials, how we lazy or whatever. I don't think we lazy. You know, I don't know. Some of us are, but we just deal with life differently, you know, because the cards we have that we've been dealt are different. But as she would say, start out like you can hold out. And one of the things, I purposely chose Mondays to go live for a reason, because Monday is typically the day that sucks. It's the first day after the weekend. It's the day you got to get back to work. For those of us that work a normal, you know, 8 to 5 schedule. And I say I show up for you guys, you know, we hit the horns and everything is like, because Monday can be mundane. And so I can't, granted, there are times, you know, where you got to step away. But honestly, you know, fragrance is beautiful in the sense that it gives you an opportunity to be present and escape at the same time. So tonight's stream is it could be the last one. I'm praying that it's not, that she would have an opportunity to see, but just in case it is, this is in tribute to her. You know what I'm saying? So it is Black History Month. It is Black Owned Fragrance Week. We are continuing to persevere. We are pushing through. We are celebrating. We are highlighting. Black history is every day. When it comes to perfumery, when it comes to this space, when it comes to fragrance, it is every day. We just take this week to celebrate it, to highlight it. We just take this month. But you cannot take all of the innovations and all of the contributions and all of the ideas that Black people, that Africans in America, that people that were born on this soil or involuntarily brought to the soil have contributed, not just to fragrance, but to every single industry, to the livelihood of this great nation that we call the United States of America. So, yeah, it's a good day. It's a good Monday. I see you guys, you put in your sin of the days. Each week I'm going to highlight a Black owned fragrance brand, and I got to start with the one that started it all. For me, from the house of Nazar Fragrances, this is going to be the scent of the day. I got to fix that. I don't know what that is, but for the scent of the day, we have Nazar, and this is Black Leopard. I had to go back and pull out the original logo for y'all. That's the original before we got the plaque and everything, the original one. And so what you pretty much get with this is a beautiful tobacco myrrh type of fragrance, myrrh incense. This smells like the Prince of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? This smells like the incense that the 3 wise men would have bought to Jesus, the frankincense and myrrh. This is what this absolutely smells like, with a little bit of that citrus that you get in the top, that pepper, that bergamot, a little bit of the spice and the sweetness that comes from the orange and the cinnamon and the tonka bean and the vanilla that you get in the base. A lot of people, when you come into contact with Nazar, this is probably the first fragrance you're going to come in contact with. This and pie and cognac are probably the 2 that the brand is the most well known for, that most people recognize the house for. So if you have not had the opportunity, the esteemed privilege to experience the house of Nazar, while it's still cold, like North Carolina, there are places in North Carolina that got 18 inches of snow. I don't think y'all understand. For all of my people that live up north in the Midwest, yeah, y'all used to that kind of snow. Snow like that does not happen around here. So, of course, if you're looking for something to raise up the heat, to keep you warmed, make things a little bit spicy. You know what I'm saying? Especially as we get ready to close out cuffing season, going into Valentine's Day and get ready to go into spring, then this is definitely one of the ones you want to check out. Again, so many other houses, and there will be a lot of things that are happening. Instagram is blowing up. It is all over the place. But again, we have Nazar Fragrances, and this is Black Leopard. One of the things I want to speak to as it relates to Black Owned Fragrance Week is something that I did mention. I did put up a post earlier. We don't buy black just because it's black. All right, let me go ahead and put that out there. We don't buy black just because it's black. There is a group of people who subscribe to that, and I think there is an essence of that as it relates to supporting your people. I don't buy black just because it's black. I buy black because it's good. And so in encouraging people to experience some of the houses that I mentioned, the Nazars of the world, the Zernel Gillies of the world, the Chris Collins of the world, the Elementals of the world. Like if I start calling names, I'm gonna forget stuff. The Kirk Elliott's of the world, the Savoir Fairs and the Chris Classics of the world, the Chris the CEOs of the world, the Essential Harmonies, the Jay Chantels, all of these different things, Caromas. If for us to really experience that and be truthsome, you know what I'm saying? Because there are a lot of people who just buy things just for the sake of it being black, and they never actually use it. They never promote it. They take a picture one time of the year. They never talk about it again. And I'm not talking about anybody in this space. I'm really talking about outside of our space, our community, our industry. And so it's like, yo, if you're gonna buy black, at least let it be good. You know what I'm saying? And I believe that a lot of our perfumers, a lot of our brands, pretty much all of them in this space have something great to offer. So I don't encourage anybody to blind buy anything. Get your nose on it, hit that sample, you know, and then get right. If you're going to make any purchase in February, at least let one of those purchases, at least get one sample. Commit to at least getting at least one sample from one of the black owned fragrance houses that you have not tapped into before. And if you need a recommendation, go on IG, look for Black Owned Fragrance Week, and they're gonna tell you everything that is absolutely there. All right, aside from that, a couple of things that's happening, you know what I'm saying, in my world. You probably saw me put up the video today of Spectrum Chill from Ahmed. All right, we kind of already talked about this one or whatnot, so definitely I'm not going to go too much into depth. This is not necessarily a one-to-one to Pacific Chill. You guys know I don't believe in the one-to-ones. We don't really subscribe to that anyway. But I like the twist that they did on it that you really get with the vetiver and the musk. The vetiver and the musk really comes out beautifully in the base. Another video that we also, the full length review is coming, but I did upload short reel TikTok. We have here from the house of M. Micallef, we have Notorious XO. All right, we have Notorious XO, beautiful, boozy, gourmand fragrance. And this is what actually kind of sparked the topic for tonight, because somebody posted, they put a comment on the video and they was like $300, you know, with a shaking my head emoji or whatever, which I mean, I'm not offended by or whatever, you know, it is what it is. Your money, my money, and, you know, it don't make no difference to me. And again, I appreciate everybody who's over on IG. If you want the full experience, come over to YouTube, Fat Boy Finesse. You should be able to find anything in my bio if you're missing that. And then we also dropped a video specifically talking about new releases from Yam and Leo. Now, here's the crazy part. I see you, Poppy Center. Here's the crazy part. Poppy sent PR. Gotcha. Here's the crazy part where I recorded a haul first impression video. I recorded the video and then I was cleaning up some files and I accidentally deleted the video. If my boys are watching, they are my witness, because I told them. I also reached out to the brand owner because I was very harsh in the video. Obviously, I appreciate that, JV. Juvie, obviously, God did not want me to send that video. He did not want me to, because I've never done that before. I've never like deleted something like that. So that's what kind of tripped me out. But it's been a little while since I had posted a Yam and Leo video because we, have a lot of other things going on. But let me just cut right to the chase. One of their new releases you have, which is Triple Spear. All right. This is their Neptune's Trident, interpretation. This is good. This is a lot better than the original sample that they sent me months ago. You know what I'm saying? Teddy says you've never tried a Yam and Leo before. Definitely Yam and Leo is one of those fragrance, houses that specializes clones, dupes, remixes, covers, interpretations, impersonations, whatever you want to call it, impressions. Definitely a house you want to check out, because again, if you look at the selection of what it is that they're going after. So if you're looking for a lot of niche interpretations, you know what I'm saying? That's what you want to do. Most of the Latafas, Afnans, Armoffs, a lot of these more famous houses, they pretty much just do designer fragrances. All right. They're really just kind of getting into niche. And some of y'all are like, I don't really work with the clones. Let me tell you something. In America, and this has nothing to do with money, so let me be careful how I say this. There's always going to be a class of people who appreciate certain and different things. In the industry, in this community, there's always going to be a class of people who appreciate certain things. So there will be no clone slander, no designer slander, no niche slander. Now, we don't lie over here. And over here in this cul-de-sac, we don't lie. If it's not good, I tell you it's not good. You will never hear me say it's 1-to-1, because there's no such thing. All right. So we ain't over here just trying to make a buck. We just trying to educate and keep it a buck. All right. So this is roughly, to me, still about 75 to 80% of the original DNA, which is good for what it's worth, which is very good for what it's worth. All right. Bet. Now I guarantee you're going to hear some other people say it's like 85, 90%. It's not. It's good, but it's not that, because again, we're talking about a fragrance that has a very distinct and particular opening that takes you on a journey. Did a much better job at capturing that, but it's still not that. So I'm never going to lie to you to tell you, hey, just for the sake of, to get a sale, buy this. And I don't have an affiliate with them anyway. I don't make no money from Yam and Leo whatsoever, not on the front end or the back end. So that's why I tell y'all, stop grouping me in with everybody else, their mama, their daddy, their cat, and their dog. I make no money, no commission, no nothing. It is purely for the love of the sport when it comes to them. So I have no dog in that fight. That's why people be like, well, Walt, why you don't talk about that fragrance? Because I don't like it. Kind of, common sense. I talk about mostly what I like. All right. And then when there are opportunities for me to talk about something I don't like, I do it. And this is one of the situations I did it. Next from that video, we talked about their version of Blue de Chanel exclusive, which is Jon Snow exclusive. It's cool. It's cool. It's cool. I think it has a potential to get better, but it is good. You know what I'm saying? Compared to the original. The difficulty when you're dealing with certain clone companies like a Yam and Leo is, which I'm gonna talk about in this third fragrance, the oil content can be too high sometimes. So when the oil content is at high, it can damage the blend. It can destroy the blend of the fragrance. And that's what happened with this one, which I was, oh my God, when I saw the bottle and I saw the juice, I got real excited because it looked like Kool-Aid. But this is Kingdom, which is supposed to be their version of Kingside from Mind Games. And I was like, nope, that ain't it. That ain't it. I mean, I went hard in the video. And so y'all will never see that. And I reached out to the owner and I said, hey, I just wanted to give you a heads up so you're not caught off guard. I had some pretty, it wasn't disrespectful. It was strong and it wasn't opinionated. It was very objective. The oil content is too high. When I reviewed Chris the CEOs, when I reviewed Christopher Lee fragrances, when I reviewed his fragrances like a week or two ago, what did I tell y'all? I said my only gripe with the fragrances is that the oil content is too high. So it is dominating the fragrance. So if you're a person who enjoys the whole experience of a fragrance from opening to close, it's gonna turn you off for like the first minute or so because you're gonna get just mostly oil. Now, Chris's fragrances, they were able to push through and I still had a great experience with that. Yam usually does a good job. This was not good. So, yeah. And I think I can be objective in my subjectivity. And because some people will be like, well, your trash is another man's treasure. No, like I don't believe that any bottle that anybody, so I call cap on anybody that gets this and push this. They have not smelled the original fragrance. If you've smelled King Side from Mind Games, it is one of the most disturbing, disruptive, niche style pistachio fragrances out there. It is strong. It will not, you guys know I reviewed the sample of that in Queenside back in September, October. We went over the sample when I was still doing my every week, every Wednesday sample review of niche. It is strong. King Side has a very distinct, strong pistachio opening. It's like, who wants to smell like that? I was like, yeah, this is definitely fit for a king in the 1800s. Because if you're into really, really super dark fragrances or strong fragrances where you're not going to smell like anybody else, then Mind Games King Side would be for you. When I sprayed this, I didn't know what this was. I had no clue. There was no distinction I couldn't pick up on it. I was like, what is this? All right. Because the oil is so heavy. So one of the things I want fragrance brands to do, just like this, nobody care. Everybody keep talking about this got 44% oil content. Nobody cares. It is the stupidest marketing tactic ever. Stop using it. It's 2026. Stop using it. Now, I know why y'all use it, because it's cute. It's a great sales tactic to people that don't know any better. Because people hear, oh, it's higher oil content or it's an extrait. That helps in longevity. It does not help in projection. Matier, like vanilla powder is proof of that. Blue Talisman is proof of that. They took their regular their regular DNA and they made it an extrait. It didn't get stronger. It got a little bit more masculine, a little bit more darker, but the EDPs are still louder. And so there are a lot of people that I like loud fragrances, and I can't believe I paid this money for the extrait and it's not as loud. It's not supposed to be, because the larger the oil molecules get, you have to have a special type of atomizer to be able to push that through. Well, the thing is, if it's pushing out more oil, it's like I said, it's going to sit on your skin, but it's not going to evaporate. I don't think y'all understand. Projection is a result of evaporation. It is a result of the fragrance being dispersed. So people be complaining about stuff, and I'd be like, just say you uneducated. I'm not gonna call you ignorant, but just say you uneducated. So we be complaining about the wrong things. I was like, who cares that it's 44% oil content? The crazy thing about it, somebody lying because they're saying it's 44%, but what does that say right there? That says eau de parfum, right? It says EDP. So how? There is no EDP out here with 44% oil in it. How? So and trust me, if this is 44% oil, then Rasasi's fragrances are 80% oil. Rasasi Hawas Black is 80 to 90% oil if this is considered 44%. So y'all, when you start to say certain things, and I know when people say it, it's people that aren't really educated. And I'm not knocking y'all, because I wasn't always educated. There's a learning opportunity. Stop selling. We're not gonna do that with Black Owned Fragrance Week. Stop selling. Just talk about the juice. I don't care if it's a clone, if it's a designer, if it's a niche fragrance, if it's artisanal, if it's what. Stop selling. Some of y'all are great salesmen. I can't sell. I can't do it. Some of my content sucks in terms of numbers because I refuse to sell. I've tried. It don't work. Now, I ain't hating on nobody. What you do is what you do. You know what I'm saying? All right. But brands, stop using this gimmick that, we increase the oil content. Nobody cares. Because what happens is people get upset and they be like, I can't smell it. It's not projecting. It lasts all day, but the projection doesn't get better. I'd rather you cut back. Or I'd rather you take 5% off or do something or increase the quality of what you're doing. Just, yeah, I'm not gonna get on that because somebody can get mad at me. Nonetheless, do not buy that. Now, what you could buy from them is that shisha. I got that in the discovery set. They got a joint shisha based on smoking hot. Now that joint is fire. That joint is super. And I'm gonna get to the chat in a second. I'm in a mode right now. You know what I'm saying? And we got 79 people watching on YouTube. I appreciate y'all. I should have 50 likes. I should have 50 likes. Again, I appreciate y'all. You know what I'm saying? That are over on IG. If you want the full experience, you can come over to YouTube or whatever. But let's get up to 50. We should have 50 likes if we got 80 people watching. All right. Now, fragrance I'm going to be talking about this week soon that one of my my subscribers has been telling me to pick this up for months. I was putting it off. I finally got my hands on it. Shout out to Neeb. All right, shout out to Neeb. I got this. I feel like Neeb might be the only person that sells this exclusively right now. Shop Aromatics. All right, this is Xena Nocturne. Man, Dr. Pepper, baby, it's good. What's the jingle? It's good night. I don't know. The reason I say that is because this is supposed to be a play on Narcotic Delight. This is such a beautiful cherry Dr. Pepper type of Tonka Cola situation. It's just good. It's a little bit spicy. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit synthetic when you first spray it. I keep spraying it out, you know what I'm saying? And it gets better and better. But as we talk about Valentine's Day right around next week, when is Valentine's Day? Next Saturday? Next Friday? Next Saturday. Valentine's Day is next Saturday. So y'all know the weather is crazy. I got mad packages that's stuck in the weather. I got fragrances I was expecting to review this week. I probably won't get to them till next week because they are all stuck, all getting pushed back. If you gonna order something for Valentine's Day, you might want to order it now. And this is one of those ones I would encourage you to order and get your nose on. Not as a replacement for Narcotic Delight, which is a beautiful fragrance that I absolutely love, that I still do want a full bottle of, but because of this is sexy. This is a beautiful, sexy fragrance, man. And the cherry and the cola, it's like cheer wine for all of my North Carolina people. Think cheer wine, cherry Dr. Pepper. That's what you get. Cheer wine, cherry Dr. Pepper. Oh man. But it's bright, like a bright cherry. Yeah, not like, because y'all know I don't really do them milky cherries. Y'all know I don't do them milky cherries. All right, I got that out the way. Frag Talk Podcast, I see you. Appreciate you coming in. Again, for those of you watching on IG, if you want the full we at 50 likes. I appreciate y'all. For those of you who are watching, we are over here on YouTube if you want the full experience. All right, let me holler at the chat real quick. Francois Parfums, good to see you. I appreciate you joining in. All right, let me holler over here. Lachey, yeah, you need that. Hey, shout out to Diamond. Fellas, ladies, you need this. Fellas, go cop this. You need this. Yeah. I got the sample of Nocturne and haven't pulled the trigger yet. Fam, I'm sold. I'm sold. I am sold. I'm sold. Yeah, Nocturne is good, man. It is a beautiful, sexy cola fragrance, man. Like cheer wine and cherry perfect. It's gonna cut through a lot next weekend if you're able to get it in. All right, I'm back in the chat. If you buy a clone of a niche fragrance, does it make it cliche? Only Dutch. JJ, I love what you said. Some understanding of chemistry goes a long way to understanding the oil alcohol solutions. Absolutely. JC, I see you. What's popping with you? I agree. All right, that's basic perfumery. EDP versus X-Straight have pros and cons, but only Fragcom knows that these companies are going to continue to market this way. And I agree with you. And who I'm speaking to is us. Y'all know my shirt, it says only Fragcom cares. You hear me talk about it all the time, but I'd be like, why are y'all pushing this, bro? Why are y'all, it's just like people that are trying to sell elixir as a concentration. Y'all know better. Come on, dog. What's the old adage? You ain't got a lot to kick it. You ain't got a lot to kick it. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got a lot to kick it. And it's some folks out here like, never mind. I'm gonna save that for somebody else. I'm gonna save that for somebody else. All right. Y'all, Chief of DC said, before I got into fragrances, I thought all colognes were for men and all perfumes. That is a Western thing, Chief. And that's most people. That is a Western thing. That is outside of the States. That's not the case. That is a marketing thing in the Western hemisphere of the world. And I'm not going to say to keep people divided, but it's easier to sell when you start sectioning off the market. All right. That's why I love, like, as far as I'm concerned, everything is unisex. You can tell there are some fragrances, like prime example. This is a fragrance right here. Again, M. Micallef for Notorious XO. I probably wouldn't want to smell this on a woman. It is very masculine leaning. Very masculine leaning. But I know some women who would attempt to pull this off. I know some women who would appreciate attempting to pull this off. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. Prime example. I got a sample right here that I got from Scent Explorer that I've been fooling around with from Amouage, which is Timber. You should be able to see that right there. All right, you can see that. It's Timber. Super incensey and resinous. I would hope the women I know wouldn't wear this, because I don't too much care for the way this would smell on my skin. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't smell bad. It's just, it's old. It's old money. But I know some women that would pull it off. I know some women that would pull it off. Dr. Pepper, baby, is good and nice. Yeah. But the snow here has been crazy. You know what I'm saying? It has been outrageous. All right. Question for y'all. Chris Lee, what's going on, my guy? Hope all is well. Yo, how much? I need you. I know some people dropped earlier. How much money? What is your limit when it comes to spending on fragrances? I need to know. What is your limit? And I'm a actually pull ChatGPT into this. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT. But I want to know. Beat it up in the chat. Those of you on IG who are still watching, let me know there. Also here on YouTube, how much are you willing to spend on a fragrance? Yes, Lachey, Shop Aromatics. Let me get the website. Yeah, shoparomatics.com. Yeah, I feel like, yeah, shoparomatics.com. Shoparomatics.com. For those of you who are interested in Xena Nocturne, and it's only $40. It's only $40, so it's not a bad buy at all. I like it. That's the link right there for any of you that were interested. Okay. Ralph says sky is the limit. Handy says $100 a week. So, okay. $3.95. $4.50. Yeah, per bottle. What is your max? $500. But we got some big spenders in here. Per bottle, not haul, per bottle. $300 a bottle. Are you gonna try the new? Yeah, I'm waiting on it to get here. Yeah. Chief says $100. Yeah, how much y'all willing to spend? All right, $300. $225. I like my chat. I like my chat. Single bottle 120, but that's after sampling and talking myself into it. I'm not mad at that. All right. Maybe 200, 220, anything past that, I'm probably not going to use it. I'm not going for it unless it, okay, grill, 225. Okay, based on what's on my list right now, 4,500. If we talking 100 ml, okay, 200. Anything over 180, okay, 200 per bottle, 5. Oh, we got 14. That's that charm money. The most I spent on the bottle is 115, 125. Washa, where you work at? Can I get a grant? I ain't paying it back. I don't want no loan. I don't want no loan, cuz hey, I like the way you think. $275 with tax and shipping. I like the way you think. If we're talking about max the bottle, I'll probably go 150, no more. Usually it's $100 budget a week over. Okay. All right. I noticed outside the US, residence fragrances are big, both men and women. If we think about it culturally, absolutely. I agree with that, Mahogany. I agree with that wholeheartedly. Absolutely. Yeah, I agree with that. And that's a big part of the conversation that we like to make sure we're having, because people get into a lot of debates. People get into a lot of arguments. Or, well, they get into a lot of discourse about what matters. You know what I'm saying? Is it compliments? Is it the price? Is it the flex? You know what I'm saying? Because one of the things that I noticed that we have a problem, and Europe has this problem as well too, but we really have in America, we buy stuff just to say we got it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do we really need all that we have? We just buy stuff just to say we got it. But from a cultural standpoint, and this is one of the reasons I try to educate people on the Latafas, the Armafs, the Afnans, the Versaces. A lot, for the most part, their culture really doesn't wear a lot of those things. You know, they just kind of pilfer it off to us because we consume everything. They don't really wear a lot of those DNAs or whatever. Dream says, let's be real, y'all. There are categories for how much we are willing to pay. And I know I'm not the only one, and I'm talking niche designer clone, but $400, $500 for new, unopened, sealed, discontinued gem. I got you. In all seriousness, I will buy what truly resonates with me, my personality, and my skin, regardless of the weather. Dutch says, realistically, I'm not going over $800 unless it's something I know I will. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. Uncle Sense, what's good with you? I'm gonna tell y'all. I ain't spending no $800, bro. I'm gonna tell y'all right now. I love fragrance. I love fragrance. I cannot bring myself. I'm talking about if money was not an issue. And that sounds crazy because people are like, what? I'd be like, bro, there are people out here that money is not an issue for them and they just aren't going to. It depends on where you place value. Car, house, that's different. That's like, you need that. You need housing. Like, you need transportation, you need shelter. $800. Would I be willing to spend $800 on a fragrance? $800 retail, or we talking discounter? Would I be willing to spend that? That's that $800. I mean, there's people out here with car payments. That's $800. And that ain't even for good cars. Some of y'all got like $1,200, $1,500 car payments. God almighty, bro. All right, I was going to get Percival last Thursday at Nordstrom, no salesperson. Okay, bet. 50. I'm retired. Okay, well, wherever you retired from, I need to know. Brother Ish had $50. I'm broke. I'm broke, baby. I'm broke, baby. Man, 1,400. Yo, Cold Demon said 1,400. Would you like to be called daddy instead of dick? That's crazy. Scent Ball says, I spent $750 on Dioglip. I mean, I get that. So I know some of y'all be out here, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. All right. JJ Bishop, because my other hobby is cigars. That's what a box of good premium cigars costs. That's my limit. Okay. Here's it is. I like the way fragrance makes me feel and of course smell. Like, okay, I'm not mad at that at all. I'm not mad at that. I love the energy. Simone says, I had to talk myself into getting that Fauna Discovery. I need the energy of the frag to match mine. Okay. All right. Okay. I'll pay as much as the clone costs. Well, here's the crazy part, bro. Clone's about to be $100. Clone's about to be $100. It's all relative if your income and assets allow for it. I agree with that too. Again, shout out to everybody that's watching over on IG. If you want the full experience, come over to YouTube, Fat Boy Finesse. All right, I'm about to go to the phone lines, the quote unquote phone line. All right. Now, if you come up here, I got to be like Anton. You got like 5 minutes. Some of y'all I might keep up here longer because you can help me have a conversation. It's 7:45. Yeah. All right. That's the link. I just want to chop it up with a couple of people to see. Well, hold on. Nobody hit the link yet. Dang, I can't remove it. Nobody hit the link yet. Hold tight. Nobody hit the link yet. Now, I know some of y'all gonna be hard-headed. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT first. All right, hold on. Let me holler at ChatGPT first. And let's see what we got right here. Hold tight. All right, let me activate voice mode. Chat, can you hear me?
Loud and clear, Walt. I'm right here. What's on your mind?
Good gracious sakes. All right, chat. So I am live right now. I'm in the middle of my live stream and I have a question for you. I'm asking people, what is the maximum amount of money that they would spend on a fragrance? And I would like your opinion and your expertise on what you feel like ultimately determines value and worth as it relates to what people decide to spend on fragrances today.
I love that you're engaging folks on this. The max spend is super personal, but value is often determined by a mix of things. First, you've got the scent itself, uniqueness, quality, how long it lasts. Then there's the story behind the fragrance, who made it, its rarity, the brand's prestige, and don't forget personal connection, how it makes you feel or the memories it evokes. All these elements help people justify their personal spending limit.
So, I love what you're saying because that echoes the sentiments of what a lot of people are saying in the chat, especially personal connection. Now, I think one of the things that we overrate sometimes is a brand's prestige. Do you feel that more people buy fragrances based on the brand's prestige than something like the story or the personal connection? Or do you think it's really just subjective to that individual, to that market sector, or anything else that could be contributing to those factors?
I think brand prestige definitely sways some folks, especially when you've got that luxury halo effect, but I wouldn't say it outweighs personal connection. It's more like a balancing act. Some people love the status of a big name, but many are becoming more driven by stories that resonate or a scent that feels uniquely theirs. So it's subjective. Some markets skew prestige heavy, others lean toward emotional ties. Both can drive value.
What would you recommend for a beginner that is getting into this space, that is coming into the fragrance community, that is coming into the fragrance industry? Where should they put the majority of their eggs? We don't put them all in one basket, but should they lean more on the story? Should they lean more on the connection? Should they lean more on the prestige? Or is there realistically an opportunity to balance all of those things? Because, The clone market is booming right now, and it's so many clones that are being created. It is actually pushing a lot of your designer companies and your commercial niche companies to go away from the story and the personal connection and put out more fragrances than what they probably should or what they've traditionally or historically done. So how do we find the middle ground for those people who are coming into the space that are being overwhelmed with all of this social media marketing and selling to say, okay, this is what you need to look for? Like say if we were creating a guide for designers on, okay, how to buy a fragrance, what would be the main things they need to look for to help drive them in that right direction? Let me simplify it like that.
If we were crafting that guide, I'd tell beginners to balance three things. First, explore scents that feel personally right. What makes you smile? What suits your vibe? That's connection. Second, don't ignore quality. Check longevity, performance, ingredients. And third, sure, prestige is fine, but don't let it blind you. Affordable or indie houses often have gems. Clones, they're great for exploring profiles before committing to expensive originals. So the middle ground? Trust your nose, weigh quality over hype, and use stories or prestige as icing, not the cake.
All right. So I love what you said as far as trust your nose. One of the things we always talk about is you have to get your own nose on a fragrance, because again, even in me trying to be as objective as possible in my reviewing of the fragrance, it is still subjective to the area that I'm in, to the mood that I'm in, to the chemistry that my skin, that my body has, as I encounter the fragrance. So that is very, very, very important. Do you think that quality is becoming more overrated and overshadowed, or do you think more people are starting to lean in to the quality of fragrances and not just the hype of the name of the brand?
I think we're seeing a split. The hype machine is still real. Some folks chase names or trends, but more and more, especially with info everywhere, people are getting savvier. They want bang for their buck, performance, ingredients, artistry. So while hype won't vanish, I'd say quality is gaining ground. Those who lean into quality, especially in reviews, build trust in the long run.
Got it. So what do you see as some of the trends that we can expect within the marketplace, within the community, within the industry into 2026 and beyond? Because fragrance is, honestly, it is a business. There is a lot of money to be made, and we see a lot of things happening just for the sake of making a dollar. But are there trends that we as reviewers or people in the community should we be paying attention to?
Heading into 2026, I'd keep an eye on a few key trends. First, sustainability. Eco-friendly packaging, ethical sourcing, and transparency will be big. Second, personalization. More brands will offer bespoke or AI-driven scent experiences. Third, cultural diversity. More niche houses will rise from underrepresented regions. And fourth, tech integration. Expect more augmented reality or scent discovery apps. As reviewers, being attuned to these will help you guide your audience, not just on what's trendy, but what's meaningful and future-proof.
Okay, so I thought I was about to end the conversation, but you said something there. AI-driven scent experiences. I see that happening more and more today. There are a lot of people who are watching my live right now that may not even know that exists. How does that work? Like, how does an AI-driven scent experience, like how does that actually work for myself or for the people that are watching?
So AI-driven scent experiences usually start with an interactive quiz or data input. You tell the system your preferences, what scents you love, situations you'll wear it in, maybe even some lifestyle details. The AI then sifts through vast fragrance databases, matching your inputs with scent profiles. It can recommend existing fragrances or suggest custom blends. Some high-end places will use that data to craft a unique fragrance just for you. So it's like having a digital perfumer who learns your taste and matches you with a scent, or makes one.
Wow. So we really could start to see the rise in digital perfumery.
Absolutely. Digital perfumery is already bubbling up, and it's likely to become a bigger piece of the puzzle. While it won't replace the magic of sniffing in person, it's definitely going to give people more personalized access, from tailored suggestions to custom creations. It's an exciting time to watch the art evolve.
Okay, so as we get ready to wrap up, what would you say as a reviewer, as an enthusiast, as those of us who are considered to be influencers? What do we need to be focusing on to help bridge the gap between the community and the industry for those who have been in this space for some time and for those who are coming into the space for the first time? What are some things we need to focus on that are going to help this transition be as seamless as possible for everybody?
I'd say focus on education and storytelling. We need to demystify the language of fragrance, explain notes, families, and how to experience them so newcomers feel welcome. At the same time, honor the craft. Highlight perfumers' artistry, no matter the brand. Be transparent too. Address hype versus genuine quality. And foster dialogue. Amplify diverse voices from seasoned noses to fresh perspectives. If we combine authenticity, inclusivity, and a genuine love of scent, that bridges the gap, making it an exciting, accessible journey for all.
Thank you, chat. That was amazing. I will talk to you later. I appreciate you.
You're always welcome, Walt. Enjoy the rest of your live stream, and I'll be here whenever you need me. Chat soon.
Y'all got, I don't know if y'all are like me, you know what I'm saying? But that was loud. I'm sorry. There are so many people who are afraid of AI. And people out here talking about, you know what I'm saying? AI, you know, it's gonna take my job. It's like, no, AI is not going to replace you. AI is going to replace the people that don't know how to use AI. So I want y'all to pick up what I'm putting down, because I just had a whole conversation with ChatGPT, and some of y'all be talking to me about making content. You be like, I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. I don't like, bro, I just did a semi podcast episode with ChatGPT. Shout out to the 100 people we got watching. Can we get to 75 likes? Can we get to 75 likes? Can we get to 75 likes? Suits, I see you in the building. What's going on, fam? I see you. D-Web, I like what you said. Imagine an AI company that creates scents on your preference and notes you like and sends you a bottle. That already exists. That already exists. So here's the thing. I'm getting ready to open up the phone lines again, but one of the things I want people to think about where we are in the space, in the community, in the industry, as it relates to fragrance. Is price driving AI? Because again, ultimately, she started talking about digital perfumery. The perfumer now, or the brand, is kind of seen as a middleman between the consumer and the brand, or the consumer and the experience, the consumer and the ultimately, what's the ultimate goal? I want to have an experience with this fragrance. Well, who has been controlling that? The brand, the perfumer, the fragrance house, the distributor, the retailer. And this is why I tell people, you can't hate. You can hate that clones ultimately, people feel like they steal the artistry. I don't think people had an issue with clones as far as stealing, because that has always happened. I think the issue that people have with clone fragrances is because it opens up the door for this. Because what it does is what people say, it cheapens. It lessens the value or the worth. Prime example, one of the things we see, I keep telling y'all, shout out to Mo, he sent a picture today to the group chat. But one of the things we have been talking about, you're going to see the fragrance industry start to follow more of the trends from the beauty industry. It makes no sense to keep promoting and selling 100 ml bottles, Because here's the reality of it. I'm probably not going to need to replace this. If you only have 1 or 2 bottles, you're gonna wear it. The average person now has 5 to 7 bottles. Most of y'all watching my stream have at least 100 bottles of fragrance at minimum. That is crazy work. When is the last time you finished off 100 mil? You're probably not, unless it's just your absolute favorite. So now you see companies really prioritizing the 30 mil. All right. Now you see companies prioritizing the 20 ml. You see the companies prioritizing the 10 ml. What makes the beauty industry so rich is you gotta re-up. When you find your favorite foundation, ladies, you gotta re-up. When you find your favorite lip gloss or your favorite lip oil, the reason Sephora is booming like it is, fragrance is not even what they make the most money off of. They make the most money off of cosmetics. It's kind of like we always complain about the price of like Louis Vuitton fragrances. Louis Vuitton don't make no money off of fragrances. If you go look at their sales, fragrance is towards the bottom. It is really it's an accessory. It is an asset, but it is not a necessity. They make their money off, you know what I'm saying, their clothing and their bags, their status symbols. If you look at the Sephoras, the Ultas of the world, it's the same thing. Why do you think we started seeing the Kohl's of the world and the JCPenney's of the world and all these Targets start to partner specifically with the Sephoras and the Ultas to kind of create these unilateral experiences where it's like, okay, this is the end all be all, the shop all in one. So for my end, it's Black owned fragrance week. And again, I can't speak. I don't know what the cost is. But this is what I would encourage you to do. You want repeat customers and you want them faster. You want repeat customers and you want them faster. You want repeat customers and you want them faster. When you find your favorite toner, when you find your favorite face, your foam wash, when you find your favorite vitamin C, retinol, whatever it is that you use, when you find your favorite moisturizer, you stick with that. You find your favorite lip, it's constant every single month. I gotta re-up. Where are the fragrance companies that are prioritizing? And we see them. We see the Fleurs of the world. We see these companies that are prioritizing like these body mist style of fragrances. See, a lot of people grew out of bod. They grew out of X. No, we need to go back to that concept, because the fact of the matter is I was going to wear that every single day. This is why you're going to see the rise in your body creams, your shea butter companies. I'm using that every single day because I got to in order for the fragrance to be effective, I got to moisturize every single day. Where are the Black owned fragrance companies that are going to put money in the soaps? I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just having a conversation. This is how I think. Like, I don't know what the price, you know what I'm saying? Of course, with cost, everything has a cost. But if I'm trying to create like cyclical, like I need you back with me every 30 days. Like, how do I get you back to the clean team every 30 days? How do I get you back to Savoir Faire? How do I get you back to Nazar? How do I get you back to Kirk Elliott? How do I get you back to Elemental? Yes, in the grand scheme of things, does it make more money sense, you know what I'm saying, to do 100 mil bottles, 50 mil bottles? Probably. And some brands, you don't need me to tell you anything. I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just thinking about, to the point of what chat says, as we start to align, because we see there are more companies. Lachey, we seen it on IG. Elf is doing a collaboration with H&M. Is it H&M? Yeah, Elf Cosmetics and H&M are doing a fragrance collaboration. And they're supposed to be eau de parfums. Now let's keep it real. you see more cosmetic companies that are getting into the fragrance game. And there's like, okay, who can we partner with? Who can we collaborate with? It's like a carrier oil, all right? You know, you got coconut oil, you got jojoba oil, you know, you got the carrier oils. Who's gonna be my carrier oil to help me break into the space? Because if you're used to e.l.f., you're used to, so I need somebody where I can I gotta keep that same mentality. I gotta keep that same mentality. I gotta keep that same mentality. Let me go to the chat real quick. All right. If the industry switches to 30 ml bottles over 100 ml bottles, they will raise the price of the 30 ml bottle significantly. They will sell less. They will sell less for way more and have you keep coming. Again, that's the whole point. I'm speaking from a business sense now. That is the point. The point is to keep you coming back. I need you to come back in. Man, y'all don't sell 100 mils? Because I also want you to wear your fragrance. And I want you to wear your fragrance in the life of the fragrance that is going to be good. Because the more oxygen, one of the reasons people started going to 30 ml bottles, I'm just using this bottle of Nazar for example, is because with the 100 ml bottles, what happens is when too much oxygen is introduced, it speeds up the oxidation process. So I need to lessen the amount of opportunity for air to get into the bottle. So I need that to go quicker. Beersome, they've already done the Initio as an example. Yeah. Same reason medicine don't work. It sustains. So exactly. And it depends, because in the grand scheme of things, Handy, this whole industry is a ripoff. If you look at the cost to produce compared to what we pay, the whole industry is a ripoff. $20 or $30 mil, nope, not with my spray routine. Right. So again, suit somebody like you, 20 or 30 is not gonna make sense. But you're an OG. We got to remember, Fragcom represents, I'm gonna be nice and say 5% of the total industry. The fragrance community, I'll be nice and say 10%. The fragrance community represents 10% of the total industry, even though I don't think it's that high. There's still 90. So it's like, y'all think I'm gonna base my decision, my buying power on what the 10% says versus what the 90% want? Yeah. All right. That's why my fragrance lane is niche, black-owned companies, gourmand, fragrances, quality over quantity at a certain price point. Yeah. All right. So I do want to read something that she ended up with, and then I'm gonna let y'all rip. I'd say focus on education and storytelling. All right. Who's doing that? Now, again, these are things for the long haul. This ain't TikTok. There are a couple of people who are trying to do this on TikTok. Speaking of which, I tried to tell y'all. Who remembers when I told y'all months ago when we first found out that TikTok sold? And I told you they gonna reset the algorithm. I told you, get yourself together. Y'all remember that? If you remember that, put a panda in the chat. No, don't put a panda, that's too difficult. Just put a 3 in the chat. Put a 3 in the chat. 3 means no lies told. It represents 3 days later. Jesus said he was gonna get back up and they didn't believe him. 3 means no lies told. Drop a 3 in the chat if you remember me talking about that. It's hard to do storytelling on TikTok, man. It's hard. I mean, you can do it, but if you try to be successful and make money, it's kind of difficult. I love what she said right here. We need to demystify the language of fragrance. Oh my God, bro, because it is such a mystery. Why do y'all think I do what I do? Why I take the approach that I take? I know some of y'all like, dang, Walt, for you not to want to go live, boy, you sure got a lot of talking to do. It's y'all fault. I'm gonna say that again. We need to demystify the language of fragrance. Explain notes, families, how to experience them so newcomers feel welcome. At the same time, honor the craft, highlight perfumers' artistry, no matter the brand. Be transparent too. Let me say it again. Be transparent too. Let me say it one more time. Be transparent too. Address hype versus genuine quality. She dropped some bars, y'all. Address hype versus genuine quality and foster dialogue that amplify diverse voices from seasoned noses to fresh perspectives, meaning that everybody's opinion matters. If we combine authenticity, bing, 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 look at that word. If we combine authenticity, inclusivity, and a genuine love of scent that bridges the gap, making it an exciting, accessible journey for all. So if I was given my state of frag.com address, that would be it. That would be my whole brand positioning statement. And a lot of that underlines what I do in this space. That's why I can't get up here, no shade to anybody, but I can't get up here and be like, yo, it smells fresh. What does that mean? It smells fruity. What does that mean? It's good to you. Like, it's sweet. What does that mean? Because there are levels. You have to explain the levels. Now, I get it. These platforms have made it so you feel like you can't explain the levels. That's why I'm saying YouTube is the perfect place. It's part of your content strategy. Go on TikTok. You can act like Jeremy Fragrance. No shade. He's one of the GOATs. But you can go over there, turn cartwheels and dance and do all the stuff you want to do, because that's what TikTok want to see. IG, that's where most of your brands live, right? So IG is where you protect the brand. All right. I'm going to say it again. This is something I'm learning. Protect the brand. One of the laws of power, it says don't outshine the master. Protect the brand. And that includes your brand. All right. So protect the brand you're talking about and protect yourself. IG is kind of that middle ground. TikTok, entertainment. IG is edutainment. And then YouTube is an opportunity for education. So you got quick, short form, long form. Quick, short form, long form. 30 seconds, 90 seconds, 5 minutes plus, whatever. Get in how you fit in. You can give context. That's what the app expects. All right. I'm going to drop the link one more time. If you want to come in, you got 5 minutes. Let's talk about it. Are we like, do fragrances cost too much? Always here for education, like content explaining the top, middle, and base notes work and how each note interacts with one another and also what it means for the experience for the fragrance. Absolutely. I agree. Make people who share your interest and ask questions. But that's how a lot of hobbies or niche things are. You got to do the research and learn. Yep, I agree. I agree. I think the youth are definitely stimulating the frag economy. I agree, bro. Like, frag heads are getting younger and younger. All right, I got Shay joining in. Hold on 1 second. Hold on 1 second. Let me turn off the music. Let me make sure I can hear Shay. Let me pull down the lower third. All right.
How you doing, bro?
What's going on, bro? Can you hear me?
I can. This is
all right,
cool.
bet. All right, bet. Real quick before we get started, chat. Can y'all hear Shay? Can y'all hear Shay? Drop a 1 if you can hear Shay. Drop a 1 if you can hear Shay, because I'm not finna make a fool of myself and we gonna talk and y'all can't hear us clearly. Drop a 1 if you can hear Shay in the chat. Real quick.
Yo.
Real quick. Y'all ain't saying nothing. I see thumbs up. Y'all ain't saying. I just need
Up,
1
y'all
1.
can hear me?
I just need 1 1. I need 1-1. I think we're good based on what I'm seeing. I think we're good, but I just want them to confirm. All right, we're good. D Web gave me a 1. Shay, what's good? What's popping with you?
How you doing, bro? How you doing? We from Brooklyn, New York over here.
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? Brooklyn in the house. Brooklyn in the
Brooklyn in the house.
building. Yeah, man. How much snow y'all got up there?
What? We got mainly ice now. You know, when the snow falls, it's fun. Everything is cool. You could go play in it. But then 2 days later, it get nasty out here. So it's ice and dirt and it's hella snow all over. You gotta climb across the street. Like it's crazy.
I've been seeing videos and I'm like, yeah, that's another reason I tell people I could live no further north. I don't even want to live no further north than like DC or Virginia. You know what I'm saying? So New York is out of the question. We was in New York for Sin Explore and I was like, yeah, this is enough for me. But
Nah, I feel you. I feel you. You
yeah.
gotta be from here. You gotta be from here, bro.
Exactly. And yeah, and I ain't from there. And I love y'all. I respect y'all. But what would it be your max amount that you would drop on a fragrance? How much money you willing to spend?
All right, so let me break it down, if I may. If I
Go
may.
ahead.
I think how much you're willing to spend is always on it depends on circumstance. Depends on
Mm.
circumstance. Feel
Mm-hmm.
me? That's very important because I can't judge someone that is making more money than me for spending how much they want to spend on a fragrance. And it's relative. Money is relative. So,
Facts.
so let me start there. Me personally, now I'm seeing the price of these Louis Vuitton fragrances and I'm just kind of like,
Mm-hmm.
what's necessary and what's not necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like I kind of compare it to a Rolex, and like it's better when it don't got the diamonds on it.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? At the same time, at the same time, when something is very special, there's no price you could put on it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And being that Louis Vuitton is, correct me if I'm wrong, designer fragrance house, not a niche fragrance
Mm-hmm.
house. You get
They're
what I'm
designer.
saying?
They're designer,
They're
but
designer.
people look at them in that niche realm. But yeah, it's designer.
Right, right. And uh, you know, I think they could come down in price a little bit. I think they could come down in price a little bit. So, and let me not beat around the bush now. Let me not beat around the bush. I wanted to give context. Um, Max amount, it's got to be niche. It got to be chef's kiss. I'm a max at 5. I'm a max at
Okay.
$500. And
That
and
seems to
that's and
be
that's a fragrance that that's if I that's I'm in my grown era. I have a deep collection. That one fragrance I'm using once a year. You know what I'm saying? Just to give context. $500. You know what I'm saying?
so
And that's me.
the 500 is on. So the 500 goes back in the day when we had a Sunday car. Like I'm only pulling this car out on Sundays. This is the one is only for that special occasion. Now I'm with you. Other people would say, Shay, that's crazy. Like if I'm gonna spend 500, I'm wearing that all the time.
Why would you do that? That's like spending 500 a month.
That's how some people see it though.
I mean, like I said, it's relative to how you have it, right? But if I'm gonna spend $500 on it, right? I wouldn't want to smell like that every day. I think spending more should give you some sort of exclusivity. I think that's why people
Mm,
buy Louis Vuitton bags and Hermes bags and because they spend so much because a lot of people can't spend that. You know what I'm saying? So why would I spend 500 on my fragrance to smell like that every day? I mean, unless that's your signature scent and you want, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to knock nobody else, but at the same time, it's
nah,
kind of like if you got a collection and you spent $500 on one fragrance, what's the purpose of the rest of your fragrances?
facts. Now I agree with that because I think more people in that space of what you just asked would probably because a newbie is probably not just gonna jump out the gate and drop 500 because we talking about it now. You know, somebody who's been sitting back watching content, you know, they have an understanding of what's happening in the space. that's a little bit different. They're a little bit educated. And they may have just, they got rich taste. They know what they like, this,
Right.
that, and the third. And it's like, and these people probably have sampled some things and it's like, okay, I kind of know where I want to go. But it's like, I see both sides, because you see the side, and I think 500, that $400 to $500 range seems to be very common in the chat tonight, where I was actually kind of shocked to see as many people saying I dropped 500 on a fragrance, because you have those people that are like somebody just said, anything above 200 is way too much. I understand that. You saying
I understand that
500,
too.
you saying 500 and the exclusivity of it, and it's like, I understand that as well. So, but are you basing, what is the hill you're going to die on, as far as this is the main thing I'm basing that 500 on? Like for Shay, like for me, it's like you said, it's got to be chef's kiss, but what does that mean?
I'm gonna tell you right now. And for one, let me say thank you for pronouncing my name right off the rip. I meet people all the time that say Shia for some reason, and like,
Oh
if you never
nah,
heard of Shea Butter, or like, I don't, but
for
I
sure, bro,
appreciate that.
for sure, man.
Let me say, all right. So I'm basing it off of, and it's so complex because, like you said before, some people look at it like, I'm spending 500, I want to wear it every day, and I'm just like, I don't know, because like, what does that scent smell like? Is that a gourmand? Is that a freshie? Is that like every day, all year round? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think that it depends on the feeling. It's an experience. That
Mm-hmm.
500 needs to give me an experience. When I smell that in the store that I walk into, that needs to, a movie needs to play in my head.
Mm-hmm.
You get what I'm saying? I like I said, I'm spending 500 to wear it once a year.
Mm-hmm.
And I know when I want to wear it. I know what I want to wear when I'm wearing it. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that 500 is definitely being worn with a suit. It's definitely like a wedding day. Yeah. Yeah, that's like my wedding day. Come on, 500 for my wedding day. Say, come on, baby.
Yeah, it's
Chat,
one of
chat.
ones.
Talk to me, chat.
Yeah, it's
Talk to
one of
me,
ones.
chat. Come on.
Yeah,
500 for your wedding day. You got to drop it. Come on,
yeah,
y'all.
yeah.
We spending more than 200 on that because what's 200? Like, I've had what have I had? I've had YSLY, and I really like that. I've had Tom Ford Noir. Those are probably like the most expensive fragrances that I spent on. I'm saying 500, but I've never even spent that much on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
Right,
those probably the most expensive fragrances because I'm really into the Middle Easterns too. Like my collection is full of, feel me, like Latifahs and Rayhans and Riffs. Like you get what I'm
right,
saying?
right,
I know about my scents, so I
right,
don't spend where my hand can't reach. But when my hand can reach there, I'm gonna get that 500. You know what I'm
right.
saying? And to me, that's like that's like my wedding day, and then I'll have another 500 that is just a
Okay,
killer, man. You know
okay.
what I'm saying? I don't know if that answers your question. Let me,
No, no,
you know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no. That definitely answers my question. It gives perspective, but it also, I love the fact that you mentioned the other things that you have in your collection, because I feel like I try to stay away from this whole sociology, socioeconomic thing, but there are people who are fully into the Middle Eastern clone space. And I'm saying clone space because there are Middle Eastern niche houses or whatever. So in the clone space, that can't fathom. I mean, when I say they can't fathom, they scratching their head trying to be like, you want me to pay what? Because they refuse to allow themselves. One of the things you said is just like, no, like I know my scent, like I know fragrance, like I understand composition. They refuse to allow themselves to experience anything different. And it's like, I done got hooked on this. I'm good with Latafa. I'm good with Afnan. That's all I need. Prime example, it was funny. They were talking about this new, Method, the body wash. And so I seen a
Okay.
reel or a TikTok where, the girls running in Walmart talking about this smell like that Latafa Angum. And I keep trying to
Mm.
tell people, I'm big on education. And I remember we had a shout out to Charm. A lot of the guys, I think last year we had a live about, clones versus OGs. And I try to help people understand. I was like, y'all, we're living in a world, only we care about a lot of this stuff. But when it comes to the exposure of things, I'm sitting here like it's funny because there are people who all they know is Latifah Angum. They don't know Burberry Goddess.
They do exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And so I can't judge you or condemn you on what your level of exposure is or your reference point because
And
you
then
come
and then the opposite.
yeah,
And then the opposite. There's a lot of people that only know Goddess and they don't know
exactly.
Angum. You get what I'm
Exactly.
saying?
Exactly. And
And
just
and then
because
and then on top of that, there's a lot of confusion that goes into space because some people associate Latafa Kamra and Angel Share.
which is crazy.
And which is crazy. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Which Kamra is its own thing,
Yep.
but but due to the ignorance they would connect the two. And then imagine the person that doesn't know either and
Yeah.
just knows you smell like apple pie and liquor. Like you know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
exactly. Yeah, because
Right.
you have those people that's like they get that, and I think that's another thing because when you're trying to explain, like sometimes it's difficult to break a fragrance down all the way down to that point because people be like, "Why would I want to smell like apple pie and liquor?" And it's like it ain't that simple. Like I don't want to
It's an
disrespect.
experience,
Yeah,
bro.
it's an it's an like it sound crazy, but it's like, bro, I promise you, just smell it, just smell it. But nah, that is you brought up a real good point, and I appreciate that. And with your permission, I'm going to use that. I'm going to use what you said. I might use this actual video in another
For sure,
video
for sure.
because again, you speak to you where you are, where you just said you are in the game. And even though you've never spent that amount of money, you would be willing to spend that. That speaks volumes.
For sure.
That
I
speaks
mean,
volumes, bro.
for sure. You gotta. I mean, it all depends on the person's route too.
Hmm.
So my dad growing up, my dad always had a lot of colognes. A
Hmm.
lot. He always built a collection. So in my head growing up, I already knew as a grown man that's something I want to do. You get what I'm saying? Looking at his collection though, my dad is we not the same. He's a little sorry, pause, but he a little superficial. You know what I'm saying? It was hella designer. It was a hella designer. You know what I'm saying? Hella designer and even some niches. I think is Parfum de Marley a niche?
Parfums de Marley is considered niche, basically like super commercial niche. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had a few. He knew his thing. He knew his thing. You get what I'm saying? So I never experienced my dad having Middle Eastern fragrances though. I never experienced that. I had to experience that on my own. And it wasn't even due to wanting to get something more affordable either. It wasn't even due to that. It was due to it was actually due to I don't want to smell like nobody else.
Hmm.
I hear y'all talking about designer. You know how people treat designer. Like, like it's something to have. So like
Right.
the Dior Sauvage, I'm smelling this on junior high school kids right now. I'm
Yeah,
smelling this
exactly.
on, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
these even Baccarat 540, which is like, so expensive to get, but these kids is finding
Right.
dupes and they're
Right.
saying it's Baccarat, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? But like
Right.
we're smelling that DNA. We're
Right.
smelling these DNA. So I wanted to smell different. So I went into like, one of these Middle Eastern stores out here and I started with some oils for real.
Which is where a
You know what
lot
I'm
of us
saying?
get started. Yep.
You get what I'm saying? And then they had perfumes to sell, and that's where I found Latifah, and I'm like, this is tough. And then I hopped on YouTube, thanks to people like you, for real. You one of the first ones that I started following, started watching. You get what I'm saying? And yeah, this is my second live that I even watched you do.
Oh, that's what's
I didn't
up.
even
Yeah.
know you would. I didn't even know you was doing the Mondays until last week Monday, for
Yeah,
real.
bro. Yeah, pretty much every Monday as long as I can. Marion, I see you in the back room. I'm gonna bring you up in a second, but yeah, every Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern. But nah, bro, especially because when you hit YouTube, you go down that rabbit hole. You know what I'm saying? It get crazy. But
Yeah, bro. But yeah, in conclusion, let me just say, like, the experience is important. So I appreciate designer and I appreciate Middle Easterns, knowing also that like they come from sense, man. Like these designer brands, they'll use the same, the same exact things as them. Like it's just like a pair
mhm,
of Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You go to China, it's made in China. It's another
right,
factory is
the
making in
replicas,
China.
yeah,
Like like just understanding the commercial sense of this is like it's kind of ignorant to knock either one. You know what I'm
facts.
saying? It's kind of ignorant to knock anything. You know what I'm saying? What it's worth to you is what it's worth to you.
I agree
500
with
my
that.
max.
I
You know what I'm
agree with
saying?
that.
500
For
my
sure.
max.
For sure. Man, well,
For sure, bro.
I appreciate you coming up, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we definitely gonna chop it up soon.
For sure, bro. Have a good one.
All right, bro. You too, man. Man, I got Marion. All right. All right. All right. Jason, I see you for tapping in late. If you like it, buy it is my motto. All right. That says Creed Virgin Island Water. The only niche I'd pay more than $200 for, to be honest. Well, most Creeds except for Uzarian. I'm with you on that one. Suit says, if it gives me a nosegasm, then it's coming home regardless. I ain't mad at that. All right. We got my guy Marion in the building. Marion, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Can y'all, if y'all can hear, yeah, I can hear you. If y'all can hear Marion, drop a 1 in the chat. Drop a 1 in the chat. I think you good, but I just want to make sure they can hear you. If y'all can hear Marion, drop a 1 in the chat. And also, I did post a link. If anybody else, you know what I'm saying, wants to come up, absolutely. There it is. Be my guest. I will post it again for you. Hold on, let me copy. Because I know some people, you might not want to go up. All right, bet. All right, so we got one, so people say you can hear it. Mary, how are you doing?
Man, I've been snowed in. I'm in North Carolina. I'm in the Trade-Fo. I've been snowed in. We got 11 inches of snow.
Yeah, bro, y'all
You
got
know,
hit crazy.
man, we don't know how to handle all this. So I've been snowed in for a few days and just having withdrawal. So
Man,
I'm doing pretty good
listen,
though, otherwise. How
that's
about
what's up.
yourself?
Man, I'm good. Same, man. Was jealous. It's crazy because I was jealous, but wasn't jealous watching everybody get snow, you know, because Raleigh was kind of, the storm split. And then we were kind of in that dry area, you know, for the longest time. And y'all were getting pulverized. Charlotte was getting pulverized. Back home in the 252, you know, they getting like 15 inches, 12 inches, Outer Banks, 18 inches worth of snow. I'm like, bro, y'all don't, people like, man, that ain't no snow. I said, for North Carolina,
Oh
that's,
yeah, that's
that's,
snow.
it's like a
I finally made
hurricane.
it out. Hey, and my roads are still, it's still crazy where I live. So
Right.
um, it's been something because we
For
got hit
sure.
with the ice first, and then we got hit with the snow.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. So it's been wild. But you've heard the conversation, you know what I'm saying? So let me get your input. You know, how much money we dropping, Marion? How much money we spending?
well, I'm the one that said I sample first, with a limit of 120, 150, somewhere in there. And I do buy a lot. I do buy a lot. But here's the thing though. I started off with, believe it or not, I started off with bow tie. And I would listen to bow tie and
You was
I
going
would go
broke.
out and get, oh, I was going broke. But and
You was
then
going broke.
and then after that I found Middle Eastern clones, and I started to realize that in the air it's really not that much of a difference.
Mhm.
Now to give you a little bit to give a little bit more information, I'm a chemist by practice. So some of these
Uh-oh.
things I have taken to the lab, and I've looked at the GC mass spec and noticed what's the difference here and what's the difference there, and how much difference is it. But the point being is that in the air, it's not that big of a difference, and that made a difference for me, especially when I found out that some of these Middle Eastern clones, they last longer. They have more longevity, and I like what you was talking about earlier with the projection, and talking about the fact that the heavier your oil, the lower your projection, and some people will have a 12-hour skin set.
Yeah.
But in terms of purchasing, I do believe in sampling, and I still sample and I still do niche, but I also realize that I want to be specialized. Like, I just got my day three
Day
here.
3. Okay.
Yeah, I got some day three, and I sampled that first. I made a mistake of going into Sephora, and I caught that Tom Ford sampled, and I purchased that too. Um, so it just depends on what catches your fancy, and what you like. And I think that once you find something that really speaks to you, you're willing to spend the money. But in terms of just spending money just to spend the money, not really. And I do substitute with clones sometimes.
Gotcha.
So
I agree on that. I agree, and I appreciate. First of all, you being a chemist, you could probably shut down a lot of these conversations that we be having. So I'm not even going, because that's a whole nother topic. Me and you are going to connect, because I want to go back and revisit that, because that's one of the things where the clone companies and those who are championing the clone companies, that's how they're fighting back to say, well, I mean, you run it through a GSM, you run it through the spec. We look at it, it's like, bro, what y'all talking about? Now, and we all know there are levels, you know what I'm saying, to everything as far as, you know, with sourcing and then the grade and all those different types of things. And some of that is marketing, some of that is hype, some of that is facts. But I do appreciate, you know, you sampling. I think that's the biggest thing we still try to preach. We got too many blind buy warriors in this space, and then they go blame reviewers. And I'm like, no, don't blame. Now, and within context, before, I will say last year and maybe 2024, there wasn't a lot of opportunity to get samples on a lot of your Middle Eastern clone fragrances. Those of you who are watching for the first time, if you follow me on IG, you will see one of my favorite hangout spots is the hair store. It is specifically here in Raleigh, and there are a bunch of them across the state of North Carolina. I know South Carolina has a couple as well. I think VA has some, but the Hair Depot. And I tell people, and I'm like, the hair store is the new plug, from the sense you can go sample, you can go smell. Like, it's not enough for you to just sit here and take my word for it. I'm like, yo, go get your own nose on it. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying you got to buy it, because typically they got to make a profit, you know. And one of the things I appreciate about the Hair Depot is that they're usually running a sale for 20 to 30% off anyway. So by the time you do the math, 90% of the fragrances, you're going to break even, but you're going to be able to walk out the store with them instead of waiting for Jumbo Shop, Frag Buy, Perfume Box, you know, whoever to send it to you. The ones that don't really amount to that are probably, and then they really kind of come out to that, are like the Joe Milanos. Typically, you're either gonna break even or you might end up spending like $5 more or something like that. But that's because their price point, even people that buy wholesale from them, I don't know what they're doing, but they cost so much money. Like, their at cost price is ridiculous, which is why their resale price, even their wholesale price, is high. But we try to preach sampling because, again, everybody has to take accountability. I can't sit here and just push stuff and be like, blind buy, and you to take my word for it. I appreciate that there are people who trust me enough to know what I like, and they've been watching me enough to say, okay, if we know Walt rocks like this, or if Walt say this is one of them ones, I'm not 100%. I don't claim to be perfect, but I think there are a lot of people that can speak for me that be like, yeah, that's good. If he say it's good, that's good. There are some things that be like, I might miss on that. And I have missed. I'm like, yeah, I don't care about being wrong. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't have a dog in the fight. But again, I still don't want you to just take my word for it. If there's an opportunity for you to get your nose on it, I can't stress that enough. Now, you pulled out the sample of day 3. Have you found a day 3 fragrance that you've liked? Have you gone through the sample pack yet?
Oh, I got the sample, and I also got the a 3-pack of the 10 milliliter.
Okay.
And I also have one full bottle.
Oh, okay.
I like
Okay,
the
yeah.
Pepper Rain. I got the Trace Oros. I got the Midnight Raspberry, and I got the Bonnie in terms
Gotcha.
of the 10 milliliter.
Well, shut up then, Walt. You ain't even got to ask, because I was going to ask you, like, what, because coming into sample, like, how often do you find yourself buying a bottle? Because I'll lead you into this question based on where I'm at. I got a list of fragrances that I have sampled, that I've gone through, that I was like, all right, full bottle, maybe for the right price. And then so those are the bottles. If I'm buying full bottles, those are the bottles that I'm trying to get. Not necessarily a lot of the new things out here, unless it's something I sample and it blows my socks off and I just got to have it. Do you find yourself winning, like hitting on more of your samples, or has it just been more of, you know, finding those diamonds in the rough?
Well, one thing is that for the most part, a lot of my samples, and I sample a lot of my samples are for some of the higher end design and niche fragrances, so I can tell what I like. As you can see from the background, I do a lot of Middle Eastern clones, just because they're cheap. I don't necessarily have to sample all of them, but the
Right.
prices are going up, so I have to think about it.
Talk
But
about it.
for instance, this is just one of my sets of samples um, that I've looked at from different designers and niche. And what I found is that yes, sometimes it is something that knocks my socks off and I want to get. Sometimes it's just curiosity,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it's just whenever you talk about and your chat made an interesting point. It talked about the halo, the prestige halo. That
Mm-hmm.
thing is real. There are two things that are real in fragrance. The prestige halo is real, and the power of suggestion is real. Those two things are very real in terms of our psychology, but I know you're not talking about that right now.
No, you
So,
good.
so when I'm going to get a sample, the whole purpose of me getting that sample is so that I can start to delineate what I really like from what I think I want. And
Mm.
you'll be surprised. You'll be surprised. I was with you on a vanilla kick when you had the Mason Arsar Vanilla Seduction. I had the Mason Arsar Vanilla for Seduction, but I went a little further. I got the Escapade Gourmand. I got some of the other niches, and I sampled some of
Right.
those.
Right.
And it's interesting. Some of the ones that you would think are, I mean, they have the name, they have the prestige, and you would think, for me, they didn't really hit like that. Um, when you get to the what is it, the diorama, didn't really hit me like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And some of the things you wouldn't have thought would be great,
Yep.
they were pretty good.
Now,
So
I want
yeah.
to ask your opinion. I didn't mean to cut you off because
Oh no, good.
I had this conversation recently. Do you think, you being a chemist, I think vanilla fragrances, especially gourmand fragrances, I think they fall victim to that more than because there's not a lot of room or opportunity for expectation of growth. You know, there are very few vanilla fragrances where it's going to give you something different. That's why when I talked about Carna Barcelona, and it's not the first time I've talked about it, I'm like, this gave me something different, you know, than what I'm typically used to spell. I'm like, it kind of challenged me in a way. I was like, like I had to really wear it, get used to it several times. And then I actually pulled the trigger. It was like, you know what, actually, it grew on me. I think I like this. Because it was weird. It was a green vanilla in a way. And I was like, I had never experienced anything like that. But like you said, me being a gourmand lover, me being a vanilla lover, like fall is my favorite season. I dread winter, but I deal with it. But this is the season where eventually you be like, all right, it's going to get boring because if you are really into gourmands, there are brands who are only willing or capable, let me say, to push that envelope the most. Like you said, you're trying things that people hype up and you'd be like, this the best thing ever. You'd be like, it's all right. You know what I'm saying? And I can say that because it's like, nah, that's my thing. Like, now we in my world. You know, I'm like, that's my thing. Now y'all start talking about oud and all this kind, I'll be like, I'm gonna sit that one out because y'all know I don't care for oud. You start talking about leather, I'm gonna sit that one out because I don't really care for that. You talking about rose, that's something I'm growing into. I'm gonna sit back and let my elders speak because it's something I'm learning. But this right here, I'm like, bro, like it does get to a point where everything is like, okay, what is the nuance? What makes a difference? Which is why I was screaming from the mountaintop for Vanilla Aura. And people's like, Walt, is it really that good? I said, this is what you got to understand. There's this lily of the valley note in here that I don't think should be here. I'm honestly like, nah, I don't think Mason has raw because up to that point, I mean, like they've done some good stuff, but I was like, nah, like this is different. Like this is different. And then the seduction, I tell people, I was like the way that plum is, I love both of them joints. I was like, they are two hitters. I don't care what y'all say. Y'all gonna see, I'm gonna run them in the ground till the temperature get above 60 degrees, and I still might talk about it. But I'm like, do you think that the accord or the note plays a huge factor in what we deem to be worth it? Because most of the fragrances that I see people willing to spend $500 on, are rose oud fragrances. And I'm like, how much rose oud do we need? Because I honestly, I'd be like, bro, like they're all starting to smell the same, whether it's Roja, whether it's BTV, whether it's Argos, whether like they have their different presentations, their styles or whatever. D-Rock, I see you. They have their different ways of presentation and how they present the rose oud. But when I start looking at prices of things and I'd be like, what is out here selling for the most money? Like, what are people really? I'm like, because you ain't spending $500 on no freshie. I think that's crazy. I'm not spending $500 on a freshie. But I feel like rose oud fragrances and then things that are heavy, like the craziest combination of florals, like especially like Royal Crown. I don't know if you've ever smelled any Crown fragrances, but they are heavy into like, it smells like the Queen of England. Like the name, the profiles, they are one and the same. It just smells like the richest garden in the world. Like you walking through the Garden of Eden or something like that. Do you feel, just in your own personal experience, I know we took the scenic route to get there and I'm talking too much, but as a chemist, in your personal experience, do you think the note breakdown of the fragrance has a lot to do with the prestige of what people are willing to spend their money on?
I think so, and you know, vanilla is a special case because vanilla is expensive. Just vanilla itself is expensive.
Absolutely.
It's a special case. And to get a good vanilla is going to cost a certain amount. You should expect it. But you also have that whole thing about name brand, that whole thing about who makes it. Like I would expect a Guerlain to be expensive. Number one, because of the type of quality that they normally give, and also because of the name recognition. They have name recognition. They can charge more. Whereas as a smaller company, even an indie niche company, not so much, not so much because they don't have the same access that you might see with that a Guerlain might have. And you know, so that means something in terms of talking about the oud and the rose. I've come to find you got to be careful with some of these ouds. Some of these ouds is different for the Western culture, and so it can be an expensive oud, but it might be one of those animalic ouds. It might be something that might not hit you the way that you wanted to hit. I think that the Western culture, we're being introduced to ouds, and I would have to say that a lot of the ouds that we're being introduced to are soft ouds, if you will. I did sample Oman luxury fragrance with oud, and I believe they give me the real oud, and it smelled like I've been walking behind an elephant all day. So I was like, no, that ain't it. That's not it. So,
But there's a cult. There's a culture. There's a fan base. Like there are people who appreciate that smell. You know, which is to your to your point. Yeah, yeah.
and it's an expensive fragrance. So if I had bought a full bottle, I'd have been out and smell like I was walking through Boo Boo Land. But it's just that's the way that it works. So yeah, we're getting oud, and I would think that in some cases we're getting good oud, but I don't think that we're getting the full oud experience. So even those companies that are putting out these oud rose fragrances, they have to be considerate of who they're sending it to in terms of the Western culture.
Right. And you see that in the West because a lot of what the West is doing and a lot of what the other, you know, Middle Eastern companies, your European companies, your Asian companies, your Indian companies, a lot of these brands, your Korean company, what they're recognizing is we don't really like the animalic, the more animalic ouds, the more animalic leathers. It is literally niche. It is a niche within a niche. And so a lot of times with a lot of your fragrances, because people question, they be like, is it even oud in it? You know, because it's like, I don't smell oud, because people are looking to get more of that animalic, that slightly fecal, that slightly outdoor, and I'm like, hey, if that's what you like, I'm not mad at it. That's what you like. Like my guy, Mo D4G, you know what I'm saying? He loves those animalic oods. And I was like, it just ain't for me, bro. It, like you said, it just ain't for me. There's some stuff I smell, I'd be like, that smell like outdoor, and then there's some ouds I'd be like, that smell like indoor, and I can grow to appreciate it. I can definitely grow to appreciate it. But nah, man, it is definitely, and I appreciate you and all of the people, first of all, that I see on a regular basis. Your support that you give that I see on a regular basis in the chat, and just being able to have an opportunity to chop it up and have these conversations and give context, because sometimes when you're in the chat, you saying certain things, it's like, like Jason talking about, he's spending, he done spent more than $500 on a freshie. Me personally, I know that's money bags. I expect Jason to say something like that. Me personally, there is no way in the world I can spend $500 on what's considered a freshie. Now that got to do, it's got to be something in that ain't never. So Jason, as a matter of fact, send me what those freshies are so I can go get the samples. So I can see. Cause I mean, it like on a freshie, that's crazy. That's crazy. I can't see it.
My imagination. Beyond my imagination.
I can't. So I want to know, because I need to experience that for myself. Cause to Ralph's point, customers tend to seek more depth in fragrances. He was talking about, he tested BTV Energizer. I did full 2 wearings. But what's going on, A-Rod? Alicia, I see you, appreciate you. But Ralph said iris, rose, jasmine, and oud are the most expensive notes. Don't be fooled by a $40 perfume that has iris. Now, I will agree with him on that. That is very true, because going back to like the Royal Crown point, or when you smell certain Serjoffs or certain things, even some of the roses and the BTVs that I've sampled, there's a difference between that iris, a designer iris, and then the quote unquote iris. And usually in clones is more so orris. I don't see too many clone fragrances that actually have a real iris in it. They usually have orris or whatever, but you can definitely tell when it comes to florals. I'm a huge floral fan. Any profile, any test that I do is talking about fragrances. I'm a usually land somewhere, in the Oriental range. But I'm a huge fan of florals. And that is usually one of the first things I pick up on in a fragrance. Like my nose can immediately, some people be like, they get citric. I mean, you understand that the diagram, as far as like, how fragrances work, the pyramid and everything. But it's like, for me, where my nose is now is very weird, where when I spray fragrances, I get presented with the entire fragrance in the opening, and then boom, now I can start to pick things apart. But florals are typically the first thing that jumps out to me. And so my journey last year, especially diving heavy into a lot of niche and say, okay, let's see what the hype is all about with the expensive stuff. And see, that is one place where I really see, when you talked about delineation and all of that, and like where we start to parse ways, where I'm like, yeah, I can see y'all are doing something different. There is something different here, or your approach or the technique is definitely different in how those things are happening. Because I consider florals, most of the time you see florals in the heart of a fragrance. And to the point, if Jims is still watching, Kev, you may remember this when we were in New York, talking to the perfumer from EPS, we talked about bridges. And people don't understand, to the point of what chat was saying. And when you start talking about the breakdowns of fragrance, Aaron, I see you joining. When you talk about the breakdown of fragrance, you got to find the bridge in the fragrance. What connects the opening of the fragrance to the dry down? What is going to be the vehicle that's going to take you on the journey? And I think that's where I want, and you're already doing that, but that's where I want a lot of my people who are just really stuck. I'm going to say, I'm intentionally using the word stuck, not just what you prefer, but you are stuck in the clone space. Sample, give yourself the opportunity to experience something legit that makes you be like, oh, now I understand what they're saying and what's happening. Now, if you still ultimately decide it ain't for you, hey, it ain't for you. But at least expand yourself in 2026. Push yourself beyond the envelope to say, okay, now I see how we got from here to here. And we went to here and we went back here and I'm getting this and I'm getting that. Instead of you just being presented with the quote unquote dry down. Because, and I'm gonna let you wrap up, because that's my biggest issue with reviewers and influencers that push this one-to-one notion from the sense of, I'm like, yo, like you said, in the air, for the most part, it's like, okay, we're pretty much getting the same things. On skin is where you're really going to get the differentiation with a lot of these different things, and you can start to tell the quality, all the different type of stuff. But when people push this one-to-one notion, I'm like, you're comparing the dry downs. When I talked about this right here, triple spear or whatever from Yam and Leo. This is, I remember getting the sample September, October. So they've been working on this for a minute. Kev, correct me if I'm wrong. They've been working on that for since the summer. And I was like, it's not there. Because the opening is, anytime you get I don't know if you've experienced Argos fragrances, but anytime you get an Argos fragrance, it is such a journey with that. I'm talking about very distinctive, where it's like they have such a signature. You immediately is like, okay, that's Argos, and it's changing. It's changing within the change, you know. And when I smelled the opening, I was like, it ain't even close. Because to me, if you miss the opening, what's the point? Now, if you want to clone the dry down, then just don't even call it a clone. Just call it something different. Because that's what a lot of companies are doing. Where I was like, if you just want to capture the dry down, the heart of a fragrance, okay, it is what it is. But don't tell me you put all of these notes in the top and I'm not getting that. You know, I have my personal thing. I got a vendor. I was like, because that's not it. Now we get months later, probably 3, 4, 5 months later, and it's like, it's better. Still not quite there, but it is a lot better than what it was. Is it ultimately still capturing the essence of the dry down of the original Neptune's Trident? Absolutely. Which for most people is what they care about. And I feel like most companies that specialize specifically in clones, they understand we're marketing to a particular demographic. So where for like you, me, a lot of us, where clone Middle Eastern fragrances kind of become more of a gateway. Because when I get a good clone fragrance, I'm like, what the OG smell like? Appreciate that subscribe, Arch Black. I'm like, what does the OG smell like if the clone is that good? I gotta smell like I had never got my nose on Baby Cat before I got Rificat, you know, or the Rifacat, however y'all want to say. And I was like, if this is that good, I gotta get my nose on Baby Cat. I went to smell Baby Cat. It didn't smell good enough for me to spend the money on that based on what I already had. And that's one of the few times where it's like, no, that clone is that good. I can justify keeping this and not spending my money on that. Now, you're going to find us far few in between, and I think we're getting to that more often, but it was like, I want to smell the OG. There are certain times you smell certain things, you be like, I want to smell the OG. I got to smell that. I got to smell that. But I appreciate your willingness to jump out there. Again, you said it from the start, sample, to stretch, and then combine with your own expertise as a chemist. Like I said, we're going to run it back because there's so much you could speak to that I think deserves its own platform, its own conversation in itself, man.
Wonderful conversation. I'd add that ambergris to that list that was given, as far as compounds that are not easy to get. And yeah, sample. I suggest that to anybody who's coming in, sample, so that you'll know what's good and that you'll know what it's supposed to smell like.
For sure. All right, I'll get with you, Marion. I appreciate you, Doc.
All right, take care.
All right, bro, you too. All right, y'all, I'm shutting down the phone lines for tonight, man. Shout out to Marion. Shout out to Shay, you know, for what in the world? Walt, you got to stop doing that. I'm sorry, y'all. I switched something which I like better, but I got to remember to do something anytime I bring that music back in. But shout out to Shay, shout out to Marion. I know those of you kind of have a weird split screen going on IG, man. You got to come over to YouTube to get the full experience every Monday night, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I appreciate y'all, man. We have rocked steady for a good bit of tonight around that 90 to 100 viewer mark. Look, the reason I got a whole board over here, you know what I'm saying, supposed to be for sound effects. You know what I'm saying? That's not doing what it's supposed to do. I'm like, hold on, because that bothers me. That bothers me that it's not as loud as it's supposed to be. I don't know why that is. I don't know why that is. I gotta fix that. I gotta change that air horn. But we'll do that.
Crazy work.
Crazy work.
Crazy work.
Crazy work.
Crazy work.
Ooh, he got baptized.
That's splat.
This splat.
That's splat.
Yeah, this is something we're definitely gonna continue. This is something we're definitely gonna continue. Stealing from my guy Jim's, having community conversations with the community. You know what I'm saying? Not just always pulling in, you know, another brand owner, another perfumer, but those people just in the space, you know what I'm saying, that make up the chat, you know. And so I leaned on y'all tonight, and y'all came through heavy. Y'all came through heavy. So I appreciate you. I'm gonna go through the chat one more time, and we're gonna get ready to wrap up here. We're gonna get ready to bring it close to an evening. All right. Reserve Privé. Okay. Energizer. Okay. Old the Dirty Rice. Yeah. Frederick Moore. Okay. All right, bet. All right, man. So, hey, so mine was supposed to be here. Yeah, it was supposed to be. Yeah, it's stuck. Maybe I'll get it tomorrow. I was supposed to have it days ago, but we shall see. I'm excited about Jupiter's Lightning. I'm excited. When I say I'm excited, I am excited about Jupiter's Lightning. I'm excited. I am super excited. All right. I appreciate y'all. Y'all already know what it is. If you have not already, feel free, hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, and click the bell so you can be notified every single time I'm posting new content to the channel. Again, every Monday night, we are here 7 p.m. Eastern time. This is the best place to be. There is nowhere else you'd rather be than right here. But we are signing off for tonight. When I tap in, Walt, don't censor me. Ain't no tapping in tonight, Doc. You tap in next week. Nonetheless, I get at y'all. I appreciate the prayers for the fam. And yeah, we hit 98 likes tonight, man. Oh, we hit 99. That's on the way too. All of my stuff. Can I end the stream with 100? Can I get 100 likes? Is there anybody who's watching that hasn't liked the stream? Can we end with 100 tonight? You know what I'm saying? For sure, D-Web. For sure. See, somebody tried to be funny. They took a like away. It's okay. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Yup. All right. Y'all have a good night. Hey, we got the 102. That's what I'm talking about, man. I need that every week. If I'm gonna bring y'all the energy, y'all bring me the likes. I appreciate that, Ralph. All right. Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Y'all have a good one. I appreciate y'all, man. I appreciate y'all for real. Boy, I appreciate y'all. It's Black History Month. It's Black Owned Fragrance Week. Let's go. Let's go.